you know, it's marginal.
Really?
Maybe. I don't think Trump has his stuff together. I mean, I've watched some of his rants, trying to read the teleprompter, screwing up country, screwing up name. I mean, he's out there too.
You were one of the people who very early in this campaign were suggesting that Democrats should consider someone other than Joe Biden.
I got the scars to prove it.
Yeah. And do you still feel that way? I mean, is there any hope, for example, at the convention that they could say, you know what, let's say the debate goes terribly, right? Debate's a disaster for Joe Biden. Is it possible that your party ends up saying, let's have someone else?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think the ship has sailed. He's getting into campaign mode. I don't think there'd be any stomach for having a wild convention in Chicago with a bunch of other protests happening. I just don't think it would happen.
And how do you think Trump's conviction changes anything at all? I mean, do you think it helps Trump? Do you think it hurts him?
I think it's going to end up hurting him. I think.
You do?
Yeah, I just think as it comes out, as Biden keeps hitting it, as the outside groups keep talking about it, I think there's going to be a lot of independent voters who are going to be like, not just the conviction, but do I really, as a voter, with my family, do I really want to go through this for another 4 years? You can have all the, maybe Biden's doing what he's doing in those meetings. He's a stable figure. He's not erratic. He's not going to destabilize. He's not going to turn the government on political enemies like you would, like it's not going to be a retribution tour that Trump would have. That would destabilize business, would destabilize the country. Nothing would get done. So I think the evaluation is, I'm going to hold my nose. I don't necessarily love Joe Biden, but I think a majority of independents will vote for him.
A new NewsNation poll shows that RFK is most popular, RFK Jr., most popular among Republican and Hispanic voters. That would seem to indicate that he may be more of a threat to Trump than Biden. Your thoughts on that?
More of a threat to Trump than Biden. Yeah, I think slightly. But he has that, I think, what RFK Jr. is hitting with the anti-corporate sentiment in the country, I think, is resonating with some people, and I think, you know, that could potentially hurt Biden a little bit.
Let's talk the border. Executive action taken yesterday by President Biden. Does that help him at all on this issue? I mean, Republicans are just coming after him again and again on this. It's almost as if he did it, and then they flogged him even more publicly about it.
Yeah, I mean, this is where the president's got to be super clear, because there was a deal. I know a Republican senator from Oklahoma, James Langford, who put that deal together with Democrats. More border agents, facilitating, better processes, the whole 9 yards. Stronger border. They deep-sixed it. Trump deep-sixed it. So Biden did the order. Now he's got something he can talk about that he did, but he can also bring up this fact that Trump put himself, his own politics, in front of the good of the country. We all know this needs to happen. So he needs to keep hammering that issue. Not that you're going to win on immigration, but it allows you to kind of go neutral on that issue and pivot to reindustrialization and all the things he did with infrastructure, the CHIPS Act, where we see in Ohio, tons of jobs are being created.
Yeah, are people in this election going to be voting on issues? I mean, no, seriously, I mean, I know it's a very cynical question to ask, but it starts to feel like the nuances of positions on policies are mattering less and less.
Yeah, I think it's sad. I really do. And I think you're probably right. It's going to be like, do I want a destabilizing Trump who I fear could turn the attorney generals around the country and you know, on their political enemies? We may have another January 6th if he doesn't win. All of that stuff is going to be hanging out there. Or do I want Joe Biden, who, you know, lost a few miles per hour off his fastball? And I think that's going to end up being the decision.
So final question. So you think even if he does poorly at the debate, and let's not say it's a total disaster, right? Let's just say poorly at the debate, you still predict that Biden wins?
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting.
I think Biden's going to end up pulling it off. I think the more they hammer the conviction, the trial, the erratic, destabilizing
I think the
factor.
trial really helps. I don't think it helps him.
I just think it's one piece of the story. I don't think, oh, he got convicted
by
for
Manhattan.
Don't get me wrong. But it's going to be like
in Ohio. I mean, where you're from, right? You were able to bring Republicans in Ohio over to your side. they're not going to care about this Manhattan hush money case, right?
No, but it's a piece of the broader story that Trump is a destabilizing figure. He's erratic. We can't trust him. We're not sure what he's going to do. I think that ends up being the narrative. I think it's going to be a close race. I think it'll be a coin flip in Pennsylvania. You know, and part of the issue in Western PA is the liquid natural gas ban that Biden had, which can hurt him in Western PA. So I think Biden's got to play offense with a big energy policy as well. We see AI and the demand for energy with data centers, the reshoring, high-class first-world problem. Biden should say, this is all great stuff, but we've got to have a pragmatic energy policy. And I think he could pull a lot of those swing voters in some of these states.
We shall see.
We will see.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your cable provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.